Shalom, all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the bishops and the elders, the great millstone that rule well through the scriptures. Peace to the 144,000 and the rest of the hopeful elect. I am the brother Chaya from GMS Indianapolis, the branch of Indiana. The original Gary camp is GMS It Will Not Tarry 2. And this will be a response to the video on screen from the elder page here, GMS Spirit Wind Levi. The earth has Edomite fatigue, and this is a counter to the black fatigue that's being spoken about now from Esau Edom, because originally, and the elder brought this out in his video, originally black fatigue, right? You see it on screen. How Racism Erodes the Mind, Body, and Spirit, book by Mary Frances Winters. So black fatigue was initially was supposed to explain how the so-called Negroes, and I'm going to throw in the Latinos and Native Americans too, because they are Israelites and they are systemically oppressed. But it was originally to explain how we are oppressed on every side, and it affects us. All right. Let's say you're going into a hostile work environment every day. And wouldn't that affect you? You know, you got Edomite bosses, and the atmosphere is not very inviting. And that's just a small example. You go to the grocery, the vibrations at work, the hostility is the same vibrations when you go to the gas station. The same hostility you go to the grocery store. All right, to the town hall, city hall, school, and that's just the low levelness of it. What about when it increases? What about when the traffic stops? What about police interactions? All right, so let's read a little bit. It says, this is the first book to define and explore black fatigue, Israelite fatigue, the intergenerational impact of systemic racism on the physical and psychological health of black people, Israelite people, and explain why and how society, etc., etc. But that was good enough. So now these Edomites done took this phrasing and changed the narrative of it to speak about how they're fatigued with black people. Now, there is a lot of things, you know, that so-called black people do that's not representative of us as a people. But that's what they put in the media, and that's what they constantly enforce to actually change the culture of our people. All right? And no one talks about that. That's why the scripture says, let me grab some real quick. Jeremiah 15:5. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? That represents us. Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? See, they're not really trying to figure out the issue with our people, because they put it there. Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, woe to them that givest thy bottle to thy neighbor to get him to drink, that thou may see his nakedness, roughly paraphrasing. They know the issues. Remember, Joe Biden said it during the crime bill, right? He said, we know, I'm going to pull it up. Shit. Let me see. We'll let him say it.
Very straightforward and simple. He knows there are two basic steps here. One step is you must take back the streets. And you take back the streets by more cops, more prisons, more physical protection for the people. He also
And this is a Democrat. More cops, more prisons. For who? This bill saw, if I'm not mistaken, this bill saw 100% increase in so-called black people going to jail and prison off this bill alone.
understands what my friend from Texas understands, and he doesn't talk a lot about, but he signed on to in this bill. He also understands there's need to keep people who are first-time offenders, who are nonviolent offenders, or who are potential first-time offenders who haven't gotten, I yield myself an additional 3 minutes, who in fact are people who are getting themselves into the crime stream for the first time, that they should be diverted from the system. So I hope this crime bill, when it passes, the Biden-Hatch crime bill, as it becomes law, God willing, I hope that we will have ended once and for all this notion that is a hangover from the 60s, that somehow Democrats are weak on crime. And I hope that we will have ended once and for all this notion that is a hangover from the 60s.
Wait a minute. He said it is a hangover from the 60s. What's significant about the 60s? What were our people doing in the 60s? All right. They were really trying to stand up and fight for some type of equality, equity. There was a lot of think tanks, a lot of orators amongst our people. All right. A lot of sophisticated talking points in regard to racism. Right. And what was passed in the 60s? What was that? I think it was the 501c3, right? And it was also rumored that he said he'll have those niggas voting Democrat for hundreds of years or something along those lines. And now, which we know is it's all BS anyway, but the Democratic Party funds the destruction of the so-called black people more than the Republican Party. And here it is, Joe Biden, a Democrat from Delaware. He said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Right? Which we are not black, but you know what he meant. But this is what when you pay attention to what he's saying in this video, in so many words, this is what he think about you. We're gonna get to it.
Democrats are weak on crime, and Democratic presidents are weak on crime, and Republicans are tough on crime. The truth is, every major crime bill since 1976 that's come out of this Congress, every minor crime bill has had the name of the Democratic senator from the state of Delaware, Joe Biden, on that bill, and has had a majority vote of the Democratic members of the United States Senate on the bill.
You hear him?
So one of the things I want to do in addition to end the crime is end the political carnage that goes on when we talk about crime. Crime is not Democrat or Republican. Making the streets safe is not a Democratic or Republican issue. This is one of those issues I hope this passage of this bill will do.
Crime is Edomite. The word crime comes from crimson, and crimson is another way of saying red or a derivative of red. It's like a slight darker red, but not maroon or burgundy. And who is known as red? Esau, Edom. Edom means red. So crime is Edomite.
Will be taken out of the gridlock category and moved into an emerging consensus. And the consensus is as follows, and I will cease when I finish this statement. The consensus is, A, we must take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents, it doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth.
You see that? It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. You see that? Who did the deprivation? Who did the depriving? Who did wait a minute, the physical depriving, the psychological depriving? right? Who did it? Take the fathers out the home. Purposefully done. Syphilis experiment. They deprived you of health care. And you know why? You know why health care is not nationwide free in America? Because so-called white people don't want so-called black people to have it. All right? The education system that you receive. Remember, they didn't want you to go to school. Remember when our people was getting water holes down and bit by dogs, right? And walking to school barefoot with books in their hand. All they wanted to do was read and get an education. Remember all the inventions that was stolen? And this history is slowly being eroded from the education system. These children, these people don't know. Hell, people my age don't know. 30 and under, they don't know. He said it doesn't matter if they were deprived. See? Grab another scripture real quick. You want to know who the devil? You want to know who the devil? If you don't know who the devil is, look, we about to show you the devil. We showing you who the devil is. Psalm 73:8. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. You hear what he's saying? Concerning how he destroyed our people and still destroying them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they were deprived. But the minute one of them shoot up a school, right? Here it is. He done one of their own, grew up middle to upper middle class, afforded all the amenities, and he just go berserk, shoot up the school, kill his mama, kill his daddy, kill the fish, kill the cat, kill the neighbors. And they say he was a loner. He had no one to talk to.
Doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society.
Who do you think he's talking about? It doesn't matter if they didn't have anything to enable them to become part of the social. How does that not matter? Of course it matters. They put crack cocaine in the so-called black community and told them just say no. But then when all these so-called white people started getting strung out on these opioids, now you're seeing TV shows like Intervention. Now they got things like methadone, like, oh, they need to be slowly ebbed off of the drug. We're going to give them methadone. We're going to give them Suboxone. You see that? It ain't just say no for them. You don't see them going to jail for 30 years and 40 years and 20 years at the same rate.
It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society.
You hear this dude? It doesn't matter whether or not they are the victims of society.
The result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife.
And the reason why they're doing that, and you're talking about our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. The reason why they're doing that is because of what you did. This is your doing. I'll grab the Habakkuk that I quoted. I want to see it in another version too. Habakkuk 2. And 15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Yeah, the bottle is your philosophies, your ways. See, you look down upon people when they use their natural ways, the ways of their ancestors. You slowly get them away from it, gradually, and then you put what you want there, so you can weaken them, right? So you can weaken them and just see them naked. To be naked means to be without truth. To be black, black, and then you call them black people. Well, the word black means void of light, void of truth. The word black means another definition of black, guilty. So you create systems for this people to be guilty, right? Grab another scripture. Accuser of our brethren. I think it's in here one time. Revelation 12 and 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. Let's look up that word, accuser. Let me see. Okay. Categoreo, to accuse before a judge, to make an accusation. All right. To charge with some offense. And then I'll let them play it too.
Strong's G 2723. Categoreo. Categoreo.
And when you categoreo, it sounds like the word category. And when you look up the word category on the etymology online, it goes into to make an accusation and to accuse. See, they put our people in these boxes that they create. Black culture. They created black culture. Sexy Red Ratchet. Look, I was watching an interview with Snoop Dogg some years ago, and he was talking about the difference between him and the rappers from his era and these other rappers. And he said these newer rappers, he was like, the money. He got one where he was talking about Master P had money, but he had another one talking about these new rappers like the money. He's like, where they getting all this money from? Where you think they getting the money from? Esau funding them, because the more destructive the music is, the more they get funded. And of everything that we got to get rid of, no one's talking about getting rid of this destructive music. No one talks about getting rid of the things that destroys the Black, Latino, and Native American community, because that's what they want. So they can fit you right into this little box, and they can appear justified in the actions they take against you. Now that's a devil. You want to know what the devil is? That's a devil right there. The word devil means deceiver. Now that's some deception for your ass. So back to the elders. Let me see if we're gonna say some more to the devil.
So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street.
See, I don't want to ask what made them do it. What made them do this? He just named everything that can destroy a people, that could destroy somebody, and then said he don't want to ask. See, that's why I brought the Jeremiah 15:5. Who shall bemoan thee, O Israel? And who shall ask thee how thou doest? Who shall have pity on? Basically, bemoan means, let's get that scripture again. In the NIV, who will have pity on you, Jerusalem? Who will mourn for you? Who will stop to ask how you are? Right? Let's get that in another. Let's see, NLT. Who will feel sorry for you, Jerusalem? Who will weep for you? Who will even bother to ask how you are? Okay? So let's get Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14:4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressors ceased? The golden city ceased in processing. This place is in process of ceasing. All right. With everything that's going on systematically, structurally, economically, globally. All right. All these things are leading to this place and this devil and his reign being finished. The Lord, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. Who done that? Esau, Edom. All right. The scripture says he shall wear out the saints in Daniel. And when you look up that word wear out, it means to harass continually. This dude harasses us continually, man. He has, then and now. He always got something in the works in regards to our people. Hell, he's brutal to the whole world. It's just the Israelites take the bulk of his force, but the whole world gets it from him, man. There's this term called is it the golden billion? Which basically is a concept that the so-called white race should have the lion's share of the world's resources, and they got it. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger. He ain't ruled the nations in wisdom like King Solomon. He ruled the nations in anger. It says, is persecuted and none hindereth. And the persecution starts with you being called out for your wickedness. 2 Thessalonians 2:8. And then shall that wicked be revealed with the spirit of the Lord's mouth. That's the prophets declaring your way to your face. And the brightness of his coming. All right. And that's the Lord repaying you for what you've done. Let me grab that real quick, too. Go back to Isaiah. Job 21:31. Who shall declare his way to his face? And who shall repay him what he have done? The Lord. All right. I'll read it in the NIV. Who denounces their conduct to their face is us. The men of the Lord, the prophet. Now, other people do too. All right, you got different little exposés. What's the one dude that did expose the Pizzagate? John Cappy. You got different people, but we do it in the name of the Lord. See, that's what matters. Who denounces their conduct to their face? Who repays them for what they have done? So, you got to you get exposed first. First comes the exposure, then the judgment. All right. Hell, I'll get one more on that too. Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 13. He professed to have the knowledge of God, which we do, and he called himself the child of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, which we are. He was made to reprove our thoughts, because your mind is wicked. All right. Habakkuk 2 and 4 and 5. All right. I think it's 5, but it says the soul that is in him is not upright. He is grievous unto us even to behold, for his life is not like other men's. Right, because you influence the lives people lead in this world. All right, and we don't accept your influence. We don't accept your image. His ways are of another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness, because it's filth. The scripture says you were children of fools in Job 30. You were children of fools, base men. You were viler than the earth. That's filth. He pronounced the end of the just to be blessed and make it his boast that the Most High is his father. And so back in Isaiah 14, it says, verse 6 again, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. All right. The whole earth is at rest. Why? Because you've been wearing the whole earth out. And it's quiet. They break forth into singing. Yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Yeah, you cut down all the trees. And a lot of you cut down the trees unnecessarily, too. You got a wicked agenda, because all the oxygen the trees give. You don't want people to have access to oxygen and access to different healing medicines that trees offer. You destroying the habitats of certain animals and plant life and bug life that, have access to the trees. Because it's all the ecosystem, the earth, the whole world, it all operates together in unison. And man, the Israelite man was put here to operate with it. Okay? And to benefit from it, and to give it structure, and to cultivate, so things won't grow, just be overrun and grow wild and rapid. It was there to, beautify it. It's already beautiful, but it's there to, operate with it in unity, and you don't do that. This is Jeremiah 50. (23) says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? Yeah, that's what you do. You just smash everything. How is Babylon, that's what it's talking about. How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? And that's the future of this place. To be a desolation, to be destroyed. Back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 1. For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. So this is their mindset. YOLO, you only live once. So with that being said, if you only live once, then you might as well be a savage. You might as well do this. Let's jump to verse 6. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. And that's what you do. You utterly misuse and abuse the creation, experimenting on things, torturing things, watching how it's affected. See, the knowledge that the Lord gave concerning his creation, man didn't have to harm it. See, George Washington Carver, when he came up with all those inventions with the peanut he was dealing with the sweet potato and I think soy. And if I'm not mistaken, he invented the car, it was said. He didn't have to, things didn't die and suffer because of that. But when you get to tinkering and tampering, things die and suffer. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion, and our lot is this. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. See? So the world is suffering. The world has Edomite fatigue. All right? In the inverse that you stole from black fatigue. The world is suffering under you. What did it say in Isaiah 24? Matter of fact, we go back over there. Talking about Edomite fatigue, so-called white man fatigue. Verse 4, Isaiah 24:4. The earth mourned and faded away. The world languished and faded away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. Why? What is another word? Language is synonymous with fatigued. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Who did that? Who goes out of their way to do that? If you had to pick of all the different races, if you had to pick one people group, you so-called white people, you Edomites. The whole world's suffering under you. People born with allergies. You're not supposed to be allergic to the Most High creation. You got people allergic to grass, allergic to peanuts, kiwis, and strawberries. Why is that? Whose fault is that? We gotta start taking some accountability. Place blame where it belongs. It says, verse 11, let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Right. And you do all of these things because it's in the power of your hand to do. Revelation 11 and 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. So who's destroying the earth? All right. You testing bombs. They've been testing bombs for decades. They've been dumping toxic waste in the ocean for decades just to see the effect that it will have on the ocean. Right? Those bombs that they tested, all right, during World War I and World War II, I think it was the atomic bomb. That radiation reverberated throughout the continental U.S. from the testing. So you owe a lot of people, Pookie. All right? Esau, the original Pookie. Anyway, Lord's willing, this was an edifying lesson to the hopeful elect. All praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah HaKodash, Shalom.